It all started with just a friendly game of tag between the students of 1A. Well, at the very least between Kaminari and Mina, who on a Saturday afternoon found it as entertaining to pass the time and involve as many people as possible to the game. You joined in on the fun, until by some chance you were pushed into the hallway closet and locked inside. For a good while you knocked at the doors to be released, yelling for either Kaminari or Mina to let you out, or anybody for that matter. It wasn't long until the doors swung open that another person was pushed into the closet, his arms outstretched to catch himself before he crashed into you. And then darkness surrounded you again. Within the small cramped space you found yourself pinned against the back of the closet by none other than Shinsou of all people, with his arms entrapping you. The both of you looked at each other in surprise before Shinsou cleared his throat and pushed himself away from you. He turned to the doors with a push, found them locked. How did this happen?" you murmured, while your back still leaned on the back of the closet.
"You tell me," responded Shinsou. "The pink one shoved me in here after she dragged me from outside your dorms."
In the dark it was difficult to see except for the little sliver of light that shone through the cracks of the closet door. You noticed that Shinsou was in athletic wear with a slight sheen to his skin. Perhaps he was on his usual exercise regime before Mina got a hold of him. "Sorry you got dragged into this," you apologized, eyeing the tall boy beside you. "It was a game of tag, I swear." Shinsou hummed under his breath as he looked towards the closet doors.
"You know, we could just break the doors down," he mused bluntly.
"Oh no," you quickly responded. "Aizawa will kill us for damaging public property and I'd rather not have that against our names." The both of you kept your eyes on the doors before you turned to them and began knocking. While you rapped your knuckles in hopes that someone would hear, Shinsou leaned against the opposite side of the closet, his arms folded before him while he watched you.
"I don't think anyone's going to hear you," he spoke with a slightly amused tone in his voice.
"You don't know that," you piped. "Maybe someone will walk past on a Saturday evening wanting their coat?" Despite your response and your continued rapping against the door, you felt a swell of nervousness wash over you. It had been a while since you've seen Shinsou face to face, with how busy UA's school schedules had been, and ever since your last interaction, it had been only through text messages and short phone calls. Still, those brief moments were still special, and the corners of your mouth slowly turned upwards from the thought.
"Do you have your phone?"
asked Shinsou, making you jump in response. You immediately shook your head, hoping that he wasn't a mind reader.
"I figured," he responded. "They confiscated mine as well."
Hearing this, you had a feeling this was some sort of ploy. It wouldn't be by coincidence that Mina, of all people, would have set this up, whether this was intentional or on a whim. Ever since that late afternoon with the girls, she had been intrigued about the whole interaction between Shinsou and yourself outside of 1A's dorms. You had been keeping it under wraps and not divulging too much information about it, but that didn't stop Mina from gushing about the ideas that swam through her mind. You sighed and grumbled under your breath, imagining the look on her face should this be her ploy. The next couple of hours was filled with idle chatter and some conversation to pass the time. Every so often you would knock on the doors hoping that someone would hear you, but to no avail. Eventually, the both of you sat with your legs comfortably entwined against each other. It was the only way to get comfortable, and with Shinsou, you didn't mind all that much. It was after a few minutes of silence that you stretched out your legs to stand back up again, facing the doors once more.
"What are you doing?"
asked Shinsou as he watched you stand by the doors. "I'm going to try again. Maybe someone could hear us this time." You raised your hand to knock on the closet door again, but before your knuckles could rap on the wooden frame, you suddenly felt your body grow still and you couldn't move nor speak. Your hand slowly dropped beside you while your eyes could only stare at the closet door. There was a sound of feet shuffling as someone walked past, blocking the light momentarily from between the door's cracks. Is this Shinsou's quirk? You thought, still with no control over your body. But why? That person could let us out. Whoever was outside the closet doors walked past with no intention of stopping. Your thoughts yelled in your mind as if they could communicate across the door, calling out to whoever was outside to release the both of you from this closet. Shinsou shuffled and stood beside you, listening in to whoever was outside. His body was close to yours while he did so, and you could feel his breath upon your skin. Your body would have flushed if not for the paralysis you felt. As soon as silence returned from outside the closet, Shinsou breathed a sigh of relief and turned towards you, your eyes still staring at the door.
I'm sorry,
he apologized.
It sounded like Aizawa was roaming your dorm's halls, and you did just say we'd be in trouble if he found out.
If we broke the doors, you corrected, before you mused over the thought further. Then again, maybe it was smart not to knock. All you could do was voice your thoughts in your head. The rest of your body was still paralyzed, unable to move or look towards Shinsou. You could still feel his presence next to you, and despite your body no longer in your control, you could feel the heat rise to your cheeks.
Well, since I have you, maybe it's easier for me to speak my mind,
continued Shinsou, his voice washing over you. You could hear him shuffle again as he leant against the closet doors, keeping his distance from you.
I was wondering,
he started, slow and cautious,
if it's not too much on your plate, that you would like to go out sometime. Officially.
Your mind raced despite your frozen body unable to react to such a request, and you could feel your heart beat faster inside your chest. Is he asking me out? You thought before you heard him continue.
I know we're in different classes, and the schedules can get hectic, but I enjoy your company, and the phone calls aren't good enough anymore.
You could see him turn to you, his lavender eyes watching your still form. When was he ever this forward? You responded. I'd give an answer, but from the corner of your eye, you could see Shinsou lean in towards you, stopping your thoughts short. You felt his hand against your cheek as he turned your head to face him. You could see the regret in his eyes as he did so, probably from his quirk usage. He held on to you for quite some time, seeing the wheels turn in his head. He looked hesitant.
And forgive me,
he murmured,
but I've been holding back since I got pushed in here, and it'll be the only thing I'll ever steal from you.
Before your thoughts could speak, his lips slowly met yours. It was tender and soft, just as hesitant as he was moments before. The blush on your cheeks felt evident to you until you felt Shinsou's hold ease from your body. With control of your body back, you slowly returned to the kiss, allowing Shinsou to continue and hold you in his embrace. After a short while, the both of you pulled away from each other. Your eyes met his, and you looked up at him with a joyful smile. Yes, you answered, catching Shinsou slightly off guard. Yes, I would like to go out. Officially. Shinsou returned your smile with one of his own, and leaned his forehead against yours, sharing a moment of reprieve still within each other's arms, despite the cramped space in the closet. After a few more hours, the both of you discussed about your schedules, planning, and deliberating where to hang out on your first date. It wasn't long until you felt the heaviness of sleep weigh down on you, before your head laid comfortably on Shinsou's shoulder. He turned to your sleeping form with a smile and a chuckle, knowing his tolerance for sleep surpassed many students in UA. Eventually he fell into slumber as well, leaning his head against the closet wall while keeping you comfortable by his side. When morning rolled around, the doors to the closet opened, waking both Shinso and yourself from your sleep. Standing by the door was none other than Aizawa, who looked down at the two of you with a neutral expression.
Up and at 'em,
He spoke.
Shinso, shouldn't you be at your dorms?
Shinso groaned at the sight of sunlight before he stirred you up from your slumber. He helped you up from the closet floor as the both of you were finally free from your closet prison. Shinso bowed to Aizawa, apologizing for the situation, and proceeded to leave the 1A dorms, leaving you with a small smile before he did.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Asked Aizawa, holding up a phone in his hand. Shinso sheepishly turned around to retrieve his phone from him before he returned back to the front doors, leaving the dorms. You watched his retreating form, smiling at the thoughts of last night and knowing what the future will hold. That is until Aizawa turned his gaze to you.
You're lucky.
He spoke.
If it wasn't for Uraraka and Yaoyoruzu, I wouldn't have found you trapped in there.
You turned to your homeroom teacher and bowed apologetically for the trouble you caused. He sighed and let you off the hook for now, considering that it was a Sunday morning. As you left for your dorm, feelings of joy welled up inside of you, remembering that kiss and the conversations you held with Shinso in the closet. You just couldn't wait for the days to roll by until you both were free for your first date.